How easy is growing sweet potato in grow bags, also known as fabric pots? In the past, I've relied on local or online garden suppliers for my sweet potato slips. They're generally sold in bundles of 25, and they're really just sprouts grown from mature sweet potatoes. After experimenting with a few different methods, I'm sharing what I've learned so that you can more easily grow your own sweet potatoes. What's up everyone, it's Scott from New Garden Road. I'm here to inform, inspire, and elevate you. Encouraging biodiversity and restoring habitat is my mission. One garden at a time. Here's my first growing example for you. This is a 10-gallon grow bag or a fabric pot. Grow bags are great because they provide for air pruning of roots. You've got exposure to the air here on the outside of the pot. That way the plants are not going to get root bound and the moisture exchange should be more even throughout the growing cycle. In this 10-gallon grow bag, I planted 6 sweet potato slips, and you can find the base where I planted it initially. There's one, there's one, there's one. They might not be spaced apart quite like I would in my raised bed, generally 8 inches apart, so I kind of fudged it here. However, it was an experiment and I wanted to see what I could get away with and how easily we could grow them. I got these slips through the mail and they seemed like they were in really good condition. I planted them on July 2nd. They take about 100 days to mature. That would have made it October 10th. However, today is November 10th. They've gone on for 4 more weeks. They should have just sized up a little bit more. In my experience, that's just fine. Many people ask the question, can you grow sweet potatoes from store-bought sweet potatoes? And the answer is yes, but there is a catch. It's going to be best to target organic sweet potatoes. Sometimes those conventionally produced sweet potatoes are treated with a growth inhibitor. When you get sweet potatoes at the grocery store for sprouting, you're fairly limited in what's available. And that could be a general one, maybe not well suited to your growing region. So let's get in here. The first thing I like to do when I harvest sweet potatoes is cut the tops off. This just makes it easier to access them. I'll leave some of the stem visible so then I can easily target my harvesting. Typically there's a cluster of sweet potatoes right around where you planted the slip initially. Some folks may ask the question, can you simply take a whole sweet potato and plant it in some soil? This is how we generally plant white potatoes, but it's not quite the same with sweet potatoes, simply because each one of the sprouts that the sweet potato produces has the potential to form a whole cluster of sweet potatoes. So in this way, it's not really the most efficient growing method. I'm just going to kind of dig in here. If you plan ahead and you can anticipate your sourcing, you can get some mail order sweet potato slips, or you can find them at a local garden center. This is a very convenient method. This could be a great option for giving you access to more varieties. This year I got slips from a local garden center as well as online. The variety that I got here locally is called Centennial. The other variety that I'm growing is called Carolina Ruby, and those were mailed to me from Southern Exposure Seed Exchange. This looks like a nice cluster. So there's the base of the slip. See what I mean? This is typical from growing sweet potatoes, that you'll get like a cluster like this. Whoa, isn't that cool? Look at that. It's like at least 4 sweet potatoes. These are pretty. So that's pretty good. 6 slips. I don't know how many pounds that is, but that's some good eating right there. This is the other 10-gallon grow bag that I planted 6 slips in. Oh yeah. Wow. Woo. Oh yeah. Oh wow. Look at that. That's from 1 slip. Plus the one that I just cut off. Probably one of my favorite crops to grow. Anything that grows below ground, it's like buried treasure, just really exciting. And I find these really easy to grow. You just need some well-cultivated loose soil and a lot of sun. Sunshine is gonna make it happen, along with some hot weather. If you can keep them moist throughout the production cycle, you're gonna end up with some great potatoes. Make sure you check out some of my other sweet potato videos. I got a playlist. If you have a long growing season, it is entirely possible to get more than 1 round of sweet potatoes. I experimented with this over the summer, and I took some of those tip cuttings and some rooted stem cuttings and I planted them in a grow bag. Here's what I really wanted to point out to you. You see the roots that are coming off of these sweet potato vines? What happens if I just take this and plant it in a grow bag? I just really want to explore more accessible ways that we can try growing sweet potatoes. They can be difficult to find, these slips, but what if someone has a big stand of sweet potatoes and you just cut off a little bit and root it, or you have a runner like this with some roots that you can just root directly in some potting soil? that's what I'm gonna do. So this is a 10-gallon fabric planter from Smart Pot, and I've got the Fox Farm Ocean Forest potting soil. That's one of my favorites. That's a 1.5 cubic foot bag, and I used the whole bag. I filled the fabric planter up, and it looks about right. It's gonna settle a little bit more, but you can see there's probably about 3 inches off the side walls, and it's got about, I'd say, a foot of growing depth, which is going to be perfect for sweet potatoes. So what I ended up with was 4 cuttings from the trimmings off of my sweet potato vines that I had growing, and I did prune off the leaves because, you know, there wasn't much roots there. I also took a couple of shoots off of those runners, and I just I stuck them right in the soil by at least 3 inches. So there you have it. I've got those sweet potato cuttings in my fabric planter. These are the Centennial sweet potatoes that I took cuttings from on August 4th. They were growing in my raised bed. They take about 90 days to harvest, so that would have been November 2nd. So we are right in line with the days to harvest for this specific variety. I will say I did make a mistake. I didn't pull these out into full sun. I had them in a morning sun, afternoon shade location so that they could get rooted and set up good. I just dropped the ball. I got busy after that. I don't know that they will have produced a lot of sweet potatoes. I'm not seeing any cresting at the top, but let's see what we've got. Ooh, there's a sweet potato. Very exciting to see a little bit of sweet potato peeking up there. That's one of those stem cuttings. No sweet potatoes attached to it. There's one little cute sweet potato. Oh, they took and they rooted really well. They grew foliage. This is one of the tip cuttings. That looks a lot more like a planted slip. Another little spud. It does not look like I grew a lot of sweet potatoes here, but I learned something. I could take some cuttings from existing sweet potatoes and plant them in a grow bag and they would take off. And I also learned that sweet potatoes definitely like full sun. Oh well. Yeah, so check it out. There is all my reclaimed potting soil from these 3 grow bags. You can use the grow bags multiple times. You can see there's some roots that have gotten through to the bottom. I'll clean that up and rinse them out really good, and I should be able to use them again next season. You can fold them up. They're easy to store and use them year after year until they just completely wear out. If you don't have a space for in-ground plantings, or you're in an apartment with a patio, something like that, small space, grow some stuff in containers. These 10-gallon grow bags are great for just about anything. Tomatoes, okra, sweet potatoes, even some salad greens, kale, broccoli, so get to it. On a side note, there's nothing really wrong with reusing potting soil. I've got a video on that process. I'll drop a link in the description to this video. You can check it out if you want to. Okay. Now check out more awesome gardening videos on my channel. Like this video if you like it, and follow New Garden Road for weekly content. You can grow your own food. Keep it organic.